go in here?
Yeah, we're going.
Start ruining everything.
Look, it's not ruining. It's just forgetting. Because I forgot about this movie.
Brothers, sisters, gender resistors, welcome to another episode of what will probably be my last, because Ron's going to hurt my feelings so much that I can no longer be on this show. Welcome to the Comic Book Rundown presents the Rundown Reviews. I, of course, am the man who no longer will be doing this introduction after this episode. And Chuck, Joe is here. Ron.
Yep. All right, this is very important. Before you say anything, all right, what I wanted to say was, I hope we're still friends after this, because I just realized I've never seen this full movie before.
That's weird. It
is super weird. And on top of that, a lot of what I thought happened in this movie actually happens in the second movie.
So for everybody who is listening and didn't actually check out what we're watching the Terminator from 1984. And I have to agree with Ron. The entire time I was waiting for Arnold Schwarzenegger to beat up a biker and get the leather outfit. And he never did, because that's in the second movie.
Yeah, he beat up Bill Paxton and that one dude that's always a bad guy in like every.
He beat up Shao
yeah,
and then killed the other guy.
So, this is unapologetically before we get into it. Hold on, just 1 second. Let's just get this out of the way. Does this movie make sense? No, that's fine. No. It doesn't need to make sense because it's fucking awesome.
Yes.
It's still a really good movie. And I knew coming into this that Ron was probably just going to poke the biggest logical holes. Shut the fuck up, Ron. We know it doesn't make sense.
Listen.
Just stop.
So let me start by saying, I also forgot this movie in the parts that happen in it. But more so where they happen within the movie themselves. I remember the intro being way longer, like half the movie being like the war, and it's like 3 seconds.
That's because they used the same footage from the war in all three little. Yes. You can't even call them like.
They were like dream sequences.
One was a dream sequence of sorts.
Like a nightmare flashback or something.
Yeah.
And then there was the actual one. But I remember it being... I always remember it being like half the movie originally. So I did not remember that. We'll get into it when we get into Spawn Cape, but I don't remember Arnold Schwarzenegger looking so bad with the prosthetics.
Right? Or like the whole face thing, like where he doesn't even look like Arnold. I thought there was a whole other Terminator.
It does not look like Arnold at all.
And it really threw me off because I'm like, wait. I was like, where the fuck did this Terminator come from? Are we back in like a future past reminiscent thing? Also, time in this, like.
Yeah, time doesn't make any sense. Time is lost. He does, for some reason, lose his eyebrows, which doesn't make any sense.
He got them burnt off.
Yeah, so when he after the Tech Noir Club, whatever, and Reese blew up the car, he ran through that, and ironically, Arnold, because you see his eyebrows get burned off and his hair get like shorter because it got burnt. Apparently, Arnold actually insured his eyebrows because he shaved them off because he was afraid they wouldn't grow back.
Listen,
I mean, look,
the man is smarter than all of us, realistically. Yeah. God bless Arnold Schwarzenegger. As we all know, Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of my favorite human beings of all time. He is scared of nothing on this planet except for death itself, which is just a wild interview to watch. If you ever watch the interview of him talking about how he's terrified of death, but he's not terrified of anything else, it is bone chilling.
Yeah, we brought that up. I think he brought it up during Conan. Yeah,
because he brought it up in the Conan O'Brien show.
Arnold's afraid of me.
Anyway, but no, arguably this is probably Arnold Schwarzenegger's. I mean, it's his most known role. It's probably his best role. Like this one and two. The rest of them were. We'll get there. Eventually.
I didn't mind 3.
I liked 3 at the time, but I haven't watched it since like 2000.
It is very much one of those things where like they were never going to.
It came out in 03, I think.
Then like 2 or 3 years after it came out.
4, something like that. It was T2 was so good. There was no way they were going to do better.
Yeah.
And when you kind of get away from that expectation, the movie's really, really good.
Well, I mean, they also waited 12 years before they made another one. Like, there were 7 years between the first one and the second one, and then 12 years between the second one and the third one.
Right. Which is fine.
But then the latest one, Dark Fate or Dark Fury, whatever, I can't remember what it's called.
Dark Fate, thank you.
Like, that basically erases anything after 2 and is the James Cameron's actual sequel. And so that's what? 20 years? 30 years? No, 20 years.
30. When did it come out?
19, 20?
Okay, so that would have been almost 30 years. It would have been 28 years.
So it was 2000.
Because the Terminator 2 came out in 1991.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it was 2019 because I saw that.
Yeah, so 28 years.
Hold on,
And that was a girl I dated before COVID. So, yes.
Shout out to Chuck, Texas.
Fuck, that bitch was crazy, yo. Okay. That red flags all over the place, and I just ignored them like they were.
Yeah, it was
like a bull.
Yep.
Anyway.
She had a weird sex face. Anyway,
So can we talk about why the fuck did Reese steal that poor homeless dude's pants with the shit stain in them? That some bitch took my pants. I have heard Chuck say that so many times.
Listen, they had to keep the authenticity of homelessness in the 80s. So they really did need him to shit his pants, then have another man take them and run away. I enjoyed the fact that for whatever reason, Reese is pretty much shirtless the entire time. Like, he found pants. That's the important thing.
So he's a burn victim, and having like textures up against your burns actually feels really uncomfortable.
He had a jacket on.
That's true. The jacket would have been even worse than a shirt.
Yeah.
He had that like canvas trench coat.
Yeah.
The quintessential 80s like I'm a punk guy is like canvas trench coats with a sawed off shotgun, but he sawed off the wrong part. I love how he saws the like armrest,
the stock off of it. Yeah,
so he can shove it up his arm better, I guess. I don't know.
And then he still looked fucking ridiculous trying to walk with it. Oh, I love this movie.
That's because he should have put it across his back and then just had it to where he could spin it around to the front instead of having it tried to tuck it under his armpit.
So I've worked in food service industry. Ron, you have too. Chuck, I'm assuming you have at some point in your life.
Yeah, occasionally.
If anybody ever talked to me the way that those people would have talked to me,
I don't remember like customers being that rude.
Of course, they were in Texas too, weren't they?
Were they in Texas?
I don't know. Everybody had a gun, so I assumed it was Texas.
Fair.
I think it does place it. Does it take place? For some reason, I always think these movies take place in Detroit. I don't know why.
See, I thought it was New York.
All right, wait. Somebody real quick look it up that's not using their source of information for a camera. And while you guys are doing that, let's talk about how we only have 5 years left until the machines take over.
So technically we have, because he actually said when.
That was May or April of 1984 was when the movie is supposed to take place.
Yes, but I feel like I remember him actually saying, like, the robots were in charge for decades, is what he said. But I thought it was like 2000 and something when
I don't know,
when the actual like robots took over and started building like Terminators and all those other machines. I don't remember. Either way, we passed it.
Can we also talk about how Ginger and Sarah are just roommates? I think that would have been better than having Mike there, just saying.
Mike? That was Matt.
Maybe it was Matt. I don't know. Anyway. Started with an M.
Yep. I mean, look, Matt definitely seemed very
Interested in
cordial,
both of them.
but yeah, like he was fine with that. So
I was laughing really hard when he was doing his like sexy phone talk.
It's Los Angeles, California.
We were both.
Oh, what? Wait, whoa! There were
Yeah,
that many guns in Los Angeles.
In the 80s,
I mean,
maybe.
Guns N' Roses always talked about how dangerous LA was.
That's because he looks like a woman, and he was probably never mind.
You know. Yeah, I mean, back in the 80s, LA used to be really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe it. I saw the dude standing behind her when she was on the payphone, like fucking creeping out on her the whole time.
Just staring at her. Although
like,
I did find out that a lot of, and maybe it was a lot of street stuff, but a lot of the background people were real people because apparently Cameron was doing a lot of guerrilla filming for this movie. He didn't get permits for a lot of his
one
stuff.
monkey in there.
Stop it. They're gorillas, not monkeys. But yeah, like he didn't get permits, so they were just filming like a lot of the night shots where it was like 3:00 in the morning on the street when there was no police around.
That's rad.
Yeah,
nice.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
It's funny to think that like that's how like James Cameron.
Like, I mean, it's Cameron in the 80s, like before I'm not even saying before he was popular, because he still had like The Abyss. Shit, what else did he do?
The Thing came out before this, didn't it?
That was
John Carpenter. Never mind.
Yeah, that was Carpenter. That was Cameron.
He had
my fault.
Piranha 2: The Spawning.
What was it?
Piranha 2: The Spawning.
Was that in the 80s?
80.
That seems like a 90s movie.
No, it was 80 something. It was before Terminator. That was the whole.
Okay.
Hold on, I can figure it out. I think.
Guess I could just.
I had pulled up the wiki on Terminator, and it told me that James Cameron did that movie. Hold on, I can't spell with my right hand.
Oh, no, you're fine. Oh yeah, 1982.
Yeah. Piranha 2: The Spawning.
Yeah. Oh, he also wrote the screenplay for Rambo: First Blood Part 2.
Oh, he likes to do sequels.
He does, because we've got Aliens coming up here, which was his.
So,
and Piranha 2: The Spawning.
Oh, The Abyss was after. The Abyss was 89.
So when I started watching this, I thought Arnold Schwarzenegger was supposed to be the bad guy in this. But then he goes through the police station and starts killing all the cops. And did you notice how long it took for them to actually take a shot at him? Because he's white.
Yeah, duh. I mean, yeah, like realistically speaking, he's not the bad. There are no bad guys except for the cops in this movie. They don't believe the victims. They are 100% holding everybody, without probable cause. I
mean, Sarah was staying there because she was feeling protected. And
yet, did she use protection when she's met with Reese later on? No,
because she knew that she had to have a child. Yep. Which I'm gonna say this right now. I love time travel movies. Love time travel movies.
Can you name one time travel movie that's ever gotten it right?
Back to the Future is the closest. Chronicle was decent. Chronicle actually was decent, but Back to the Future is probably the closest.
Which one was Chronicle? Was that the shaky cam superhero movie?
Yes.
They had travel?
No. Is that it's not superhero. I know the superhero one. I haven't seen the superhero one.
Oh, I like Chronicle. That one. Yeah, it was called Chronicle.
Then I'm thinking of something else.
Are you thinking of the one with Bruce Willis goes back in time to try to kill himself?
No, ironically, the first time I watched Looper, I hated it. I need to rewatch it.
That's what it was called, Looper. Yeah.
I need to rewatch it because apparently I was mad that they made Joseph Gordon-Levitt look like Bruce Willis, and I'm like, this makes no sense. But that's my own thing.
I don't like him. I like Bruce Willis. I don't like the other guy.
The one I am thinking of is these kids, these college kids. They find this camera, and on it is a birthday party of the one guy, and as when he was like 7 or something. And as they're watching it, they see him now in the background, and which they start to piece together that they can time travel. So they start time traveling, but as they are doing it, it starts to change the future every time they go back.
Like the butterfly effect?
Sort of, but not as like blatant. And I wish I could remember what it was called. I'll have to look into that. But like that's the one in my eyes that was probably fairly close to it. But the whole thing though, like I know people will say, "Oh, you've got Endgame," which was, it's time travel, and that was accurate. That was not accurate. That broke time travel rules. My whole thing is if you make your rules in a movie, and as long as you follow those rules that you make in that movie, then you're fine. The one, not Wrinkle in Time, the one with Christopher Reeves and Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. It's a romance. I can't remember what it's called, but that's another one where
P.S. I love you.
No, he goes back in
time.
I'm Traveler's Wife.
That's a very tall man with a very small woman.
It's a really good movie, though.
Time Traveler's Wife?
No.
What? No, Christopher Reeves and Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
I know. I was trying to name the movie.
Jane Seymour. Couldn't remember.
What about the Time Traveler's Wife?
It's not Time Traveler's Wife.
Isn't that called The Astronaut's Wife? Aren't you making things up, Chuck?
Somewhere in Time is what it's called, from 1980.
What about Timeline? That one movie where it's got
that one, Gerard Butler and Paul Walker, and Ron's gone, and now he's back.
And now he's back.
That was weird.
That was weird. Hi.
Yeah, Timeline is another decent one.
Okay.
And that one, I think, also is fairly, I'm using air quotes here, accurate with time travel.
Realistically speaking, Terminator's like concept is like so simple. They fucked it up. Like they destroyed their own sense of like continuity and made it harder for them to write their own series, because all it is like, hey, we're robots. This guy is going to be the thing that destroys us. So we're going to send one of our guys back in time to just kill
mom.
The mother. But then that could have been it. That's the simple story. Is we're just sending this robot back in time to go kill him. Oh shit, they're trying to kill my mom. I'm going to send this dude to go try to save her, to make sure that she stays alive so she can give birth. Where they fuck up is making it the guy who got sent back being his dad.
And that's where it kind of starts being weird. Like he has to go back in order to conceive John, conceive John Connor. But
it's called a paradox, guys.
It is a paradox, because if he wasn't, the other problem is that because he's from a future that then doesn't exist after the end of this movie, John Connor should not exist.
True. Okay, so here's another thing. When Reese first meets Sarah, right? And he says, "Come with me if you want to live." I thought he meant go with him, but later on we find out he meant something completely different.
I mean, yes. That tracks.
She was hot in this movie, though. I forgot.
So I was talking to Ron before we started. I've seen this movie. I have seen this movie start to finish a long time ago. There are parts I don't remember. I said at the beginning that I thought was in this movie, but it was definitely from the second one. One thing I don't remember at all is the sex scene and how much they show. Like, I remember the sex scene happening, but I don't remember them actually showing anything.
Yeah.
And I'm
like, it's an 80s movie. Obviously, they're going to show things.
I mean, sure, but
this was like right on the cusp of it, creating PG-13 and like shutting down a lot of this from happening. So it was sweet.
Yeah, Red Dawn was 85.
Yeah, because if I could go back in time, I'd find out whoever did that and punch him right in the dick.
Yeah, but then you'd fuck it all up, and then we'd all be speaking Spanish or something. You know what I mean? Step on a
But we'd have Pixar movie still. Oh.
The easiest way to like fix this is just she's already pregnant. Like that's
Yeah,
the time that they
exactly.
said the time
Because
they
she
sent
did
her
have a
back.
boyfriend or whatever that stood her up that night.
Yeah,
Which
and, like,
ironically, that
that
was
would've
the
been
voice
great.
of James Cameron. And
Oh.
ironically, after this movie, James Cameron and Linda Hamilton do get married for a time.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Till he quits showing up for their dates and she dumps him.
basically. Yeah, like that would have worked. But at one point during the movie, I think Sarah even asks, like, why didn't they just kill John at some other point in time? And Kyle Reese says something about like they can't do that, like it doesn't solve the problem. And I'm like, it kind of would, but
How would that not solve the problem?
I don't know. But like he made the statement,
but then they figured that out in 2 that obviously they can kill him when he's a kid.
Exactly, because they do that, and then they come back again for the third one.
Well, maybe there's just a point in time of his life where they can't kill him prior to that, but they thought it'd be easier just to take out his mom.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe he had. I mean, obviously he had protection set up in place for himself.
It honestly starts to kind of beg the question: if they never sent a robot back in time, would the war have ever actually happened? Because, like, obviously we're seeing the timeline of them sending a robot, so they got to send Reese, and like that's what creates this whole situation. Because now Sarah is aware and begins to train John to become this soldier and all these things. But if they had just never sent a robot back, do we actually know? Because, like, we're under the impression that this is the loop, right?
And that's the paradox. That's the loop. Because of the second one, they find the arm that's left over, and that's where they get the chip to make Skynet.
Right.
So if that never actually happened, did Skynet come into play before?
Right. I would like to see a new version or like a continuation where they go back and they try to kill her parents. And then it's in like the 1920s or whatever, and it's a robot, like it's just a and they're like fighting the mob or something. I don't know. I think it would be like do it like the
like he
Predator
shows up
series is done.
There's some dude in a fucking fedora, and he's like, "Hey, Mac," and he's like, "Give me your clothes," and he's like, "I don't know what you mean by that, pal, but you're gonna taste my Tommy gun."
Yeah, like
I don't know about that one.
I think that would be so. Like, just do it like how like Prey was like part of the Predator series, where it's like,
Prey
we can just keep trying to kill them till we find the right one. You know what I mean?
Like, speaking of that, so they find the phone book which has the Sarah Connors.
Only 3.
Only
they
3
didn't know her middle name. Okay,
fine, but he starts killing them in order of the phone book, and the news outlet just picks up on that immediately. Like, I get that phone books are a thing in the 80s and that apparently news outlets had nothing else to do but look through phone books. But like when they're saying, oh, it was the same order, what about the third one? Like, get the fuck out of here. Come on.
Yeah, listen, as I have watched with current events, the news sucks at giving us information, especially at a rapid pace, and we're in an era where we have instant information. So
at our
I can't imagine in the 80s that this would have made sense.
Yeah.
So when
we're watching it most of the time before the news actually like tells the story.
Yes. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so when Reese leaves to get their supplies that they needed to make their bombs, and Sarah calls her mom, like, who the fuck is just going to tell somebody exactly where they are when they are on the run from a fucking robot?
She gave them the phone number.
And you know what you can do with a phone number? You can call it.
Terminator.
Exactly.
Yeah, literally what he did.
But she also told him what room number she was in.
That is true.
Yeah.
And she told him she was staying at the Rikki Tikki Motel or whatever the fuck it was called.
I think they were trying to get across that like she's naive. Like this is her being naive. Like she doesn't. She's
also 18 in this movie. She's 18 in this movie, apparently.
Wait, what?
According to IMDb, she is supposed to be 18 because in Terminator 2, on the file that I think Arnold looks at, or John looks at, I can't remember which, talking about Sarah, she is 29 in that movie. and John Connor is 10 years old, allegedly, in that movie, in T2.
Wait. He's supposed to be 10 years old in that movie?
He's supposed to be 10 years old, which means she had him at 19.
Are you
she was pregnant?
sure?
Yes, according to IMDb. When we get to T2 in a few weeks, we'll check that out.
Yikes. Okay.
Okay. So I have another complaint to make about Reese then.
I mean, she was 18.
That's a little young still, because he was definitely like in his at least late 20s, early 30s. Yeah.
Yeah, but time is relative, man. You know what I mean?
That's true. By the time that he got there, she was actually the pedophile because he wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're not wrong.
How do you explain? Would John then know? Would John know that Reese was his dad when he sent him back?
See, and that's the
100% he did.
That was like the thing.
That's why he gave him the picture of his mom to jerk off to, and
like Sarah even said, like, do I tell you who your dad is? If I do,
don't even get me started with the whole "I've been in love with you since the moment."
Right?
Shut the fuck up, you geek. Jesus
look,
Christ,
no, Chuck,
doing it in the rap pits while the machines walk all over you.
You're looking at it the wrong way, okay? All Reese was trying to do was legitimately get in her pants, okay? So he was saying what he needed to say.
That's only because he was probably like a virgin, and that was the first woman he ever saw and touched, and actually like.
Yeah, you're not. That's actually super fair. Yeah, he was probably just tired of fucking robot faces.
Hey, they got the skin right finally, but
I did appreciate the level of skulls that happened, like scattered among the debris of the future. Just skulls everywhere. The machines are just constantly rolling over them. It's awesome.
That's because they're really strong and they don't crush, apparently.
But that's the other thing. Like when we saw them blowing people up, they like eviscerated them. How are these skulls laying around anywhere?
Yeah,
unless that is leftover from Judgment Day.
There was that scene where the person gets obliterated, like it's either the flashback or the opening scene.
That was the dream sequence.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and eviscerates, and he just is like, "Oh no." Like face, like my guy. Come on, have a little bit of something. What are we doing here?
Like compassion, maybe.
But very seriously, like everything aside, the music in this movie is terrible.
What?
Dude, it was somebody that had like a keyboard that had the extra buttons on it, and they were just like ding 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 ding. The only part
you mean outside of the opening credit?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, that's more iconic to me than Star Wars in my upbringing.
That's fair.
Which is fair,
but movie before I saw Star Wars, which means I saw this movie when I was like 5.
Nice.
Not appropriate.
God no.
Shout out to my dad.
I will say though, the Terminator Arnold is really smart, I guess, because the first thing he did, I guess, after he got clothing, was to go rent an apartment because he had a base of operations to return to anytime he got injured.
Yeah. So did you realize that Uzis come with infinite ammo? So I mean, he goes to the store. He goes to the gun shop, right, and blows away the owner, which was fucking hilarious.
Hey, you can't do that. Yes, I can. Boom.
But like he shoots that Uzi for basically most of the bar scene, and then all the way out the door, and he is still shooting it before he like throws it at somebody, or I don't know, but like he used that gun so much that like, and you never once see him reload that gun.
He reloads the bullets are, but maybe they're like tiny bullets in the clip.
It was actually a BB gun, and
there you go. He retrofitted it to have like extra power.
Also, when he finally completely sheds his human form, and he's just the robot running, the stop motion that they did for that
wasn't great.
However, man.
The robot standing up from the wreckage was awesome.
Agreed.
I will say, like the stop motion, like claymation-y stuff. It has a very nostalgic place in my heart. Like,
Yo,
I
100%.
Yes.
I know it doesn't hold up, but it's kind
made
of
me
endearing
happy,
for the movie,
and that's important.
Yeah, it's like a part of the movie. I don't know how,
It's
because
a part of the. It's a part of the time, man.
yeah,
You know what's
you just kind of let the kayfabe exist for it. You know what I mean? Like we just acknowledge that this is not great, but we don't care. Yeah.
I also want to bring up how terrible of a driver Reese is. The first in the dream sequence when he is driving the van and he's going everywhere, and then however fast he's going, that gunner's up there getting a concussion left and right because he's going over all these hills, whatever. But then when he's in the 84 driving Sarah, he's the entire time doing this, like back and forth, but the car is still going straight, which is weird.
Nobody ever taught him that you have to focus away from the front of the car.
Exactly. So I'm just saying he is a terrible driver. I don't know where he learned to drive, but he needs to do better.
That's like the famous like 1980s driving trope is like,
Yeah,
you're not gonna is to do that to indicate
look
that
like
you are
you're driving.
Yeah. And it's
because
absurd.
it's in the TV shows all the time in the 80s and 90s, in the movies. Yeah,
just make it look like you're driving. You'll be fine.
So Arnold ragdolling in this was freaking hilarious. Like when he gets was it thrown when it's either when he gets thrown off the motorcycle or when he gets thrown out of the car when they're chasing him. Like right after he loses his eyebrows.
Okay.
I want to say it was on the motorcycle, but like it just like the one ragdoll scene.
He does it again when he's being dragged by the semi when he gets like ran over.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah, fucking hilarious. Like he folds like a napkin. It's so unnatural. It was which is like hilarious to think because he's like a robot and he can barely move normally.
And yeah, he's flopping everywhere.
And then and then all of a sudden he's just flopping everywhere. It's so good.
Great. Although one thing I really wish would have happened is when the Terminator so it's at the end in the factory when they're walking up the stairs and the Terminator is walking up the stairs. I kind of want Reese to like just kind of poke him down the stairs and just have
him with the pole just like bonk.
And just keep doing that the entire time.
Can we talk about the OSHA violations that happened inside of that factory while they were there?
So many.
First off, that cage was not closed all the way, but the machine was still operating. I mean, come on.
Okay, now that's definitely 80s. That's why we've got those cheesy videos. It's because of shit like that.
Hey, don't put your head inside the machine. Oh.
I'm also like really interested in the fact that like two little switchboards run the whole factory. It's like that's not how that works. Have you been to a factory? I have. I work in one. That's not how that works.
Listen, Joe, you don't understand how things worked in the 80s, okay?
I mean, you're not wrong. 80s was definitely different.
Yeah, thank your union representatives, okay? Because they made it safe for you to, so you don't get destroyed and murdered.
And then also take out your rage on Reagan and anybody that likes him because he's the reason why we went back to not having all that.
Uh-huh.
Tell me about it.
You're not wrong. I will say, speaking of slightly less annoying things, we watched this on Tubi.
We did.
Oh yeah, and you know what?
Hey Pluto TV, you could fucking learn a thing or two.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
First off, you got a warning for when the ads would start.
Yep.
And then it was like 12 to 18 seconds worth of ads.
Yeah, if that.
And there was only like 4 of them. Like total in the entire 2-hour movie.
Yep.
I think I got one. Yeah, I think I got one every like 35-ish minutes. Something like that.
Yeah.
So high five to Tubi, right? Tubi? Yeah, Tubi for that one.
That's how you do free content. That's how you do it. It was great.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff on Tubi. I was looking through.
I'm finding a lot of
the
shit
HBO
on
Max stuff is over there.
Yeah. Well, that's WB is fucking stupid. Let's just put it that
I mean, yeah.
We know. We watch their movies, Joey.
We'll watch a lot more of them here soon.
Damn, look at that. That's all my notes. Oh, no, wait. I have one more note. When they are escaping and they're in the car and he gets the stuff out of the car and then they both just go like this and the car just rolls away. No car ever rolls that easy. Ever.
It's fine. It was in neutral.
Maybe they're downhill.
I mean, it was in a ditch, probably.
No, because he said they had to push it off the road to where they could hide the car to where people couldn't find it.
In the ditch, yeah.
Anyways.
So you're talking about like they're getting their stuff. When they were making the plastiques, the bombs, and he's telling her that to be careful when she screws on the top. And then when they're packing up, he's just throwing them in the bag like no big deal. Like, what the fuck?
That's because that's because the tops were already on them. See, it was fine. Although he does like fucking pucker his butthole when she like pretends to throw the bag or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
the acting was not great.
No.
Like I remember it being okay. Arnold is really good because Arnold was just being Arnold.
He also only had like 14 lines.
Which fun fact? Do you know the story of like the most iconic thing he says in this movie, and how it was actually ad-libbed because he kept fucking it up?
I saw it here because he says the wrong line. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So the story, how I understand it, is it's the famous "I'll be back," and the line is supposed to be "I will be back."
Yes.
But he keeps saying it wrong.
I will be back.
So,
yeah, I'll be back.
According to IMDb, it was originally scripted, "I'll come back." After the change, it almost became "I will be back" because Schwarzenegger thought it sounded more machine-like without a contraction. He also felt "I'll be back" sounded too feminine. It was the one major disagreement between Schwarzenegger and Cameron. And all Cameron had to say to that was, "I don't tell you how to act, so don't tell me how to write."
And then finally, from the Schwarzenegger side of it, was just finally Cameron was just like, "All right, fucking never mind. Let's just move on." Because it took them they apparently did it for like 14 or 15 takes because he kept screwing it up.
Yeah.
And they would just redo it from the top of like him walking in and them running it which is weird because that isn't all one shot. So I don't know why they needed to redo it every time. But finally he was just like, fuck it, we'll find a good take out of that. And now it's become the most iconic part.
Everybody says it.
Yeah.
So apparently, according to IMDb, James Cameron's original story idea was much more elaborate. And it involved Skynet sending 2 Terminators back in time. The first one was a cyborg that would be defeated by a human, also sent back in time. The Resistance actually sent 2 men, but one was to die during the time travel. A second Terminator, one consisting of liquid metal that would be able to shapeshift, would be sent by Skynet in response, reluctantly, as it is so experimental that it may alter the past beyond Skynet's intentions.
That sounds familiar.
Cameron briefly considered clay animation in dark shots to portray the shapeshifter, but he soon realized that the concept was too ambitious for what he could achieve with contemporary techniques. He also knew that his reputation at the time wasn't big enough to sell a story of such scope to a studio, so he used only the first half of it. When a completely computer-generated special effects proved to be successful in The Abyss, he revived the idea of the Liquid Terminator for the sequel.
Nice.
Yeah, current 2024 current day writers, look, you don't have to cram everything into one fucking movie. You can spread it out over 2.
Yeah, but
and make 2 cohesive stories instead of one with a bunch of bullshit and then another one that you literally just do filler to try to get to a third one because God forbid you didn't make a third one.
Anyway. But the problem is that a second one's not guaranteed anymore. So that's why they shove everything in one movie. And then it flops. Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. Like,
you know what you should do? You should just write a good cohesive story with no intentions of doing a second one.
Exactly.
Just tell the fucking story.
100%. That's how the MCU started. Like they were just telling a story with no intention of making sequels. Sequels came out because people went and saw the movies and really enjoyed them.
What a crazy concept that we could actually just like enjoy a story within one movie and then move on. And maybe we could get a better story in the second one.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it's weird.
So there was also 2 deleted scenes which gave Skynet and the Future War some more background. The first was a scene where Sarah locates the Cyberdyne company that will be responsible for building Skynet and the Terminators. She tries to convince Reese that they should destroy their building in order to prevent the dark future from ever happening. But Reese tells her that his mission is conserving the future, not changing it. The second scene shows that Cyberdyne owns the factory where Sarah battled the Terminator, and that one of their employees finds the Terminator's microchip, which actually causes Skynet to exist in the first place, which we do kind of get a little bit of that in the second one. The scene was originally part of a larger subplot where Sarah and Kyle eventually agreed to blow up Cyberdyne, which is why they were making bombs in the first place, ending up inside the Cyberdyne factory while on the run for the Terminator wasn't a total coincidence, as they were purposely heading that way, hoping to destroy it. This subplot did end up in the novelization. Skynet's origin and destruction of Cyberdyne became major plot points for the sequel, T2, Judgment Day instead.
Yeah, it's pretty much like almost the entire plot to T2.
Yeah, Cameron cut the scenes because he wanted to leave some questions yet unanswered, which he never regretted, as he could make an entire sequel out of the unused ideas. And that's how you do it. That's how you make 2 films out of 100%. One idea.
Yeah. Or write a fucking novelization, you know? Joey would love that.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I like to read.
I did Dynamite. Is it Dynamite Comics?
That has Terminator?
Yeah, they just did a Kickstarter for the entire Terminator like comic series and books. I backed it. So
did you? So yeah. I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably a good price. But if it's on Kickstarter from a major company, Boom, Dark Horse, Dynamite, it's going to come out in
probably
in the stores at some point.
It was a better price.
Sure, yes. That's what I'm saying. Like if you can get a good price there,
I think it was all 3 parts for like $90 or something.
That's actually not bad.
No, because they're hardcover special edition
stuff. Yeah. I've learned that in the last couple of years because there's a couple for like what was it? Berserker, the one from Boom Studios that Keanu Reeves wrote. I'm like, oh, this is great. I backed it and I got the 3 hardback Kickstarter edition covers.
Yeah.
But then the book was coming out in stores. I'm like, well, that kind of.
Well, I think the theory is like they got to make sure there's an audience there first to pay for release. So
well, yes, but the problem is these companies doing it. Like Boom Studios doesn't need to do that.
Kickstarter was never intended for big giant companies to use. It was supposed to be for small upstart people. But as per usual, fucking capitalism ruins everything, and it fucking just went in there. That's why Etsy sucks now. You can't trust Etsy because Etsy is just
really damn it.
Etsy nowadays is pretty much like 75% like fast flip. Essentially, what they do on Amazon is now
really?
Etsy now. Yeah.
See, because the only ones that I really follow are like independent stores, I guess you will. The only few times I've used Etsy, which I haven't in a while. Actually, I use it usually around Christmas. I'll get some like fun Christmas ideas. But
I don't buy anything from Etsy. Stuff. Yeah, I don't buy anything from Etsy that I didn't find through Instagram specifically. Like I find the shop through Instagram and then I go directly through their link to Etsy to guarantee that it's like a good like independent artist. That's the easiest way to do it. Don't Google search. Or not Google search. Don't like Etsy search because it will literally just give you like garbage company.
You know, I guess I probably did that because I got a bunch of retro boxes for my Zelda games.
Yeah.
All back there. And I went through Etsy for all those. And I got them from some guy overseas.
Yeah.
So it took forever to get over here. But yeah, like they look great.
Yeah. A lot of like all the 3D printed model stuff that I get, I only go through ones that I've found from Instagram. So
which is fair. I've got a couple that I've used on Etsy, but yeah. I think I probably did find them on Instagram as well.
Yeah, because I also want to use artists who actually have paid to be allowed to print the stuff. So, which is like a big thing. So
that's Yep.
Well,
now I got a friend that I work with that has a 3D printer. So if I could find the file, I can just give it to him, and now I'll just pay him to do it.
Right. Thingiverse.
What else do I have here? Oh, so when Arnold goes to the police station and does the "I'll be back" line, if you actually look at his glasses, you can see both of his eyes are still intact, and this is after he had cut out the eye. We saw the robot eye, which, I mean, as terrible as the not Arnold looked, it was still practical.
Yeah,
which is better than them trying to do whatever sort of.
It didn't look as good as the non-practical Arnold that they had for
Jingle All the Way.
No, Jesus, the one with the Mars. Total Recall. Yeah. Because that one, like where he pulls the thing out of his nose, that thing is fucking hilarious.
And that's 90s, right?
Total Recall? Listen, they had a lot more fucking practical shit they had to pay for in that movie. So, like a paper mache booby.
But I mean, that's just to say, like, the special effects in this one, while there wasn't a ton, like the lightning looked good. Obviously, we talked about the Terminator running and the backgrounds the stop motion looked bad, but I mean, it still was believable. Like, I wasn't as bad as it kind of looked. I still enjoyed watching it. It still worked for the movie.
It still looks better. It still looks better in this lens than rubber people from like Blade 02.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yes,
yeah. Like 100%. It's still does it look good? No, but does it look good for the time? Yeah, it looks great. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it doesn't. It still ages nicely.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
So do we have anything else we want to talk about? I think I've gone through.
I covered all my notes.
Yeah, no, just I think I had the same thing you guys did, where it's like I couldn't remember the sequence of events and stuff that I thought I remember in this one don't come until the
second one.
The second one.
The second one was so popular. Like, I've seen the second one numerous times.
Yeah,
like that one is
all the time.
Is like,
although there are things that I don't remember in the second one that I'm now starting to wonder if they cover. Like, do they talk? Like, is the reason why they sent it, sent the T2 back and stuff? So, I mean, we'll cover that in a couple of weeks, but I'm just curious if they explain the continuity errors or if they just run with it and say fuck it. So, because I don't remember.
If I remember correctly, a lot of because the Skynet went with the T-1000s, they were able to hijack the T-800s to be on their side, the Resistance side. So that's right. They basically thought, we'll send the Terminator back because he could handle a human couldn't handle fighting the T-1000.
Right.
But an outdated model could definitely fight a T-1000.
Right.
I guess.
Well, I'm just wondering if the theory was, I don't know, like they're like, oh shit, like it didn't work. We need to go back and do it again, or like, did they know that it didn't work, or was this always the timeline kind of thing? So, we'll find it.
I feel like they only send back the Resistance only sends back somebody when the Skynet sends back somebody. Like they find out.
Do they ever actually explain how they figure that out? They don't, do they?
No, unless they do in the second one, but I don't think they did.
I don't think they. Yeah, they don't feel like they don't ever mention it. They just do it. Yeah. And where's the technology for that? I know that gets explained in Salvation, but still.
Well, okay then.
Salvation's a sleeper. That was a good movie. I liked Salvation. Salvation was dope.
Salvation was one that I think I watched like once or twice. I'm like, it's fine. But I haven't.
It's good. It's a good action movie.
After 3,
perfectly fine action movie.
Sure. But after 3, I've only seen like Salvation I've seen once, Genesis I've seen once, Dark Fate I've seen once. Like, and I think there's one more. I don't know.
know I've seen Genesis. Is that the one where it's like nanotechnology and they're starting to incorporate with human?
No, that's Dark Fate. No, yes, that is Genesis. Yeah, because they go back and Emilia Clarke is Sarah Connor.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
like it's a different timeline or something.
Yeah, it's the branching off the timeline, and then Dark Fate brings it back.
Dark Fate basically erases 3, Salvation, and Genesis, and is the direct sequel to 2.
Right. And then it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Nope, none whatsoever.
No. Because they're even just like, none of this really happened. Also, there's new Terminators, and I'm from a different timeline.
At the same time, John is dead. So, like, then why are Terminators coming back then? Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah. So, well, they have to figure something out.
Yeah.
Those Terminators were cool though, because they were they were TXs and the like liquid T1000 separate. It was pretty dope.
That scene where they separate and then come after was okay.
Yeah, it was really fucking rad.
Anyway, so as for kill count, I've got a total of 44, which includes 2 dogs and 2 trees. The semi ran over.
We're counting trees now.
They're living things.
It's a life lost, Chuck. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Still less than Batman. Literally a robot sent to kill things. All right.
Because he wasn't very good at it. Because he
was
every time
good at it.
Every time that they showed his vision,
he killed one, and he killed.
Like every time it showed like things from his point of view, I'm like, man, it's no wonder why they keep getting away. This motherfucker can't see anything.
He's colorblind. All I can see is red.
So angry.
Yeah, so angry. No, like according to what's his name, Drexel, the detective or whatever, lieutenant.
Yeah.
There was apparently 30 cops in the police station, and Arnold just mows through all of them. Now, I only saw like 16 or 17 or 18. I can't remember how many I counted. And according to T2, they say only 17 people were killed. So, I mean, people could have got injured, I guess. Also, according to IMDb, the gun that Reese gives Sarah when he goes out for supplies is Drexel's gun, because there was a deleted scene that as they're trying to get away, they come across him, and he's like, he starts to finally believe them that somebody's after Sarah. Fucking moron.
As long as he starts to believe, that's all that matters.
Then he gives them his gun, and then he dies. So,
interesting. Is there a director's cut version of this?
I honestly don't know.
I don't think I've ever
Possible.
seen it.
Chuck, you better get out there and ask. You want the director's cut of Terminator?
Give me the Cameron cut. Give me the Snyder cut of the Cameron cut, where it's 9.5 hours long and they blur all the colors. Oh my god, can you imagine what the Snyder cut vision of the Terminator would be?
A lot of slow motion.
Slow motion blur red.
Let's see. Is there a director's cut of Terminator?
I feel like there's one for T2, but I don't know.
Special edition runs about 16 minutes longer. Among the new alternate scenes, the orderlies are shown fate forces Sarah. That's 2. You morons.
Dummies.
There's an alternate version, I guess, according to IMDb, but
okay.
In the 1998, the film was released on DVD in both its cut and uncut form. Oh. I guess there is something out there.
Arnold hangs dong.
I mean, you saw that in this one.
Yeah, a little bit. No, not to the caliber.
It was very shadowy, like Batman's dong and Batman Damned.
Yeah, dumb, stupid. Want better dong? Just hang dong. Who cares? Why we gotta make it weird? We make women get naked all the time,
right? Equal opportunity here. Let's go.
Equal opportunity nudity. Ooh, I like that.
That's why we got Game of Thrones. That's why we got Westworld. They definitely were showing dong in those two.
Yeah. I should give Westworld another try. I like the original movie. It was
trying to find it. It's off HBO. HBO dropped it. Yeah. Fucking stupid idiots.
That was their movie. It was theirs.
It was their TV show. And they're like, nope, we don't want that anymore. Which is so stupid. They had one more season. They could have, even if they didn't do a season 5, they had just done like a 2-hour movie to wrap everything up. Would have been great. Nope, they don't want it. Okay. Because season 3 killed the momentum, lost viewership. Season 4 was great. I loved season 4. Anyway, sorry. HBO stupid. WB.
I've never watched any of it. So
dude, season 1 was wonderful. Season 2 was good. Season 3 was very confusing, but season 4 brought it all back and was basically teeing it up for an ending for season 5. And then HBO's like, nope, we don't want it anymore. Bye.
Meanwhile, CW won't stop fucking making shit long after it needs to be done. Fucking hate this fucking company. Anyway, all right.
Anyway, let's go bingo. We got bingo.
All right, so nudity, product placement, all that was within the first 7 minutes.
Nudity. Oh, you mean product placement? I'm like, nudity was hour and some in, but
no, it wasn't. They were nude right when they
were totally nude when they came through.
Ass. Duh.
Origin flashback, hero kills, dead parent, because Reese died.
I was saying Sarah's mom, but okay.
I mean, you're not technically wrong.
Government interference because of the cops.
Mm-hmm.
Animal cruelty because that kid beats that rat to death. And the dog.
One Terminator shoots the dogs, yeah.
Yeah.
Which apparently that Terminator was another bodybuilder that Arnold knew, and he got him in there for that little scene.
Explains why he was such a terrible actor.
Yep.
We had rejecting destiny when Sarah's like, oh, I don't want to be the mommy of the future.
Yeah.
Unexplainable science, sexual innuendo, and fight for control of something. The control of that thing being Sarah Connor's life.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's
market.
Her vagina, specifically.
Spawn cape there, Chuck?
Yeah, spawn cape.
Okay. Does this hold up? I mean, no, but in the best way possible. It is nostalgic. It is the 80s. Some stuff I still love the fight with Reese. I think actually looked pretty fucking dope, even for what it was.
So here's a question I have. Sorry to interrupt this, but I forgot about this while we were talking about it because I didn't make a note of it. When he is beating the shit out of Ginger's boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
He's throwing him through every conceivable shatterable thing. Why doesn't he just shoot him?
Because he
doesn't want to make any noise. I love the trope of the 80s of I have headphones on, so I can't literally hear anything going on around me. I feel like this that happens in Halloween as well.
Yeah.
It's do y'all not remember how shitty those headphones were? You could hear everything. This is stupid. But I still love it. I still thought it was funny.
I think that happens in either some of the Friday 13th or some of the Nightmares as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stupid.
That's a very, very good horror trope.
Yep. Does this count as a horror movie?
You could make your argument for it, and I wouldn't say no, but it's more actiony than horror, I think.
Yeah, but if you just base it solely off of the things that horror tropes, you know what I mean? We have a final girl.
Yeah.
We have a slasher that a killer that ultimately can't be stopped.
Yes,
through most of it. There's reason. He's got reason, and it's violent. I mean, I think that.
I mean, you could
more so than Aliens, which we will find out here soon.
Very soon, actually. No, you're not wrong. Like I said, you can make your argument for it, and I wouldn't disagree.
I would argue it's more than The Crow, which was constantly classified as horror.
You had said that you had seen that it was classified as horror.
It's always been rolled into the other horror shit.
I don't understand why though. I mean, maybe because it's so dark. But
ooky spooky nonsense.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fucking
Anyway.
goth girls.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah, well, you know.
Anyways, Chuck Spun Cape.
Got away from that.
Shit. I'm gonna put it in the middle. I'm gonna say 23 and 4/8 out of 92.
4/8, huh?
I don't know, man. It doesn't fucking matter. It's so stupid.
Anyway.
Can you put a fraction within a fraction? Who knows?
I don't see why not.
No,
why not? It's my scale. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
You do what? You're not measuring it properly. All right, so that gives us to our scores.
No, absolutely fucking not.
Boob count. I'm sorry.
Boob count.
That is correct.
And Ron has to rank all the women. We all know this.
We have 4 boobs. And
wait, where was the other 2?
Her friend when they were fooling around. They're there, I assure you.
Technically, we have 6 because Arnie blasts his pecs, and those things are fucking ginormous.
That is true.
So yeah, he's had huge jahooves.
All right, I'll add those.
Thank you.
So anyway, 6.
All right, fine. Okay.
All right, Chuck. Now, what is your score out of 10?
All right, is this a Terminator movie? Yeah, because it's a fucking Terminator movie. It's the
Terminator movie.
Literally,
this is what spawned the comics. Look, I saw this when I was probably too young, and it was terrifying and awesome. I had action figures. It was the fucking best. It still, to this day, is one of my favorite movies. Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of my favorite actors of all time for no reason other than I just enjoy him and everything he's ever been in.
Arnold was the dad figure that Chuck never had.
Him and Stone Cold Steve Austin, they dual parented, and I'm just thankful.
See, I love how modern your parentage is. 2 fathers. Who knew?
2 fathers, exactly. 1 Republican, 1 liberal is wild. I think he's like a liberal Texan. It's weird. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say, what did I give Rogue One? 9.6.
You gave Rogue One a 9.98.
Wow. Okay.
You gave that high.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 9.12. Because I don't love this as much as Rogue One, but it's still very near and dear to my heart.
Yeah. Ron?
I will happily watch this again on Tubi with commercials. That's how good it is.
I think it's leaving Tubi soon, so
of course it is.
Of course it is. But no, you're right. This is definitely a movie I would not have no.
I would buy the digital. I would buy this off Amazon, like digital, and just have it in my library to watch.
Buy the collection. Why not?
Yeah.
Ron, what you got?
All right. So, does this movie have boobs? Yes, it does.
Has 6 of them, so that's already 6 points.
Right. Okay, but see, then it loses some points for the terrible plot.
You can't poke logic in the plot. We know it's bad. That's not fair.
But I did enjoy the movie. Sure, most of the time I was making fun of a lot of it, but that actually brings me joy, so it's okay. I gave it a 5.97.
Oh, seriously? Oh, okay.
That's rude.
Yeah, actually, kind of.
I know what you're talking about. That's actually a fairly high score anymore for me.
Yeah, that's actually pretty high for a movie that only had 6 boobs. I do kind of feel like maybe this movie, if we didn't get sequels and we've already seen them, would maybe score higher, because I think a lot of the continuity and like what they tried to do kind of gets fucked as when they try to do sequels to it. Like if this movie just existed in a time capsule by itself, I don't think the continuity really matters anymore, because we don't know what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well, we know that John sends his dad back in time to fuck his mom.
That's
time travel paradox.
True.
But no, you're
time travel parent docs.
Yes, but you're not wrong. I mean, honestly, and it's my turn for the score, because I've seen Terminator 2 for this movie, which is bad, because this is an awesome movie. This movie it's a product of its time, but it's still amazing. And like I just said before, I have no problem whatsoever watching this. I mean, it's been forever since I've seen it, but I've got no problem ever watching this again. Like, if I ever want to do a double feature of Terminator, I'd watch this and then T2 because they just are perfect together. But that's really kind of it. But regardless, I gave this a 8.37. Really, really like this movie. And even though it's been forever since I've seen it, it's still a great movie. It's a wonderful movie. But yeah, so with that score, we have a combined of 7.82.
Oh, that's low.
So which
Ron,
I kind of assumed to be in the 8s.
Oh, Ron.
But
you deserved better.
So it drops it in at number 12. So it's at least in our top 20 or top 15. Should have been our top 10, but blame Ron for that one. It's going to be right behind The Dark Knight at a 7.87 and right above Blade at a 7.73.
Interesting. I like it better than both those movies.
I mean, I like it better than both those movies too, but I'm pretty sure that I scored it better than both those movies. So, well, no, I take that back. Wait, Blade? Which Blade?
First Blade. Blade 1.
Oh, okay. I don't actually like it better than the first Blade, but I definitely like it better than Dark Knight. But of course, some other people scored that movie way higher than it should have been scored. So,
this guy,
both of you.
Yeah, I scored it really high. Listen, I was drinking the Joey juice at that point. You know what I mean?
Is that what we're calling it now?
Yeah. When I start agreeing with Joey, it's just because I've been drinking the Kool-Aid.
Love it.
That's fair.
I'm just saying he had a point. Everybody's bad. You know what I mean? Batman makes sense when you really.
Yeah, I thought he was talking about the acting though.
Wow, that's somewhat...
That was just me being an asshole right there.
Heath Ledger was a good actor in that one.
It
was his second to final role.
What was his last role?
The Imaginarium of Dr. Panassus or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Emporium, something like that.
Something like that. I watched that movie because I'm like, oh, it's his final role. I want to see it. Originally, it was going to be him in all that, but after he died, all of his friends, I guess, came in and made the movie with them in his roles, and by doing that, it made the movie better. But it still wasn't a good movie.
Dustin Hoffman's in that movie too?
Maybe? Fuck, I don't remember.
I don't know.
I know, like,
no, I think that one. I think the one with Dustin Hoffman is the Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
Yeah,
that's the one. That's what I'm.
Because that's got Natalie Portman in it, I think.
I believe you're right.
Yes. Please.
Alrighty. Well, I guess that brings us to the end. So, Chuck, where can they find you, buddy?
Okay, you can find me on the internets over at TikTok and Instagram. Kicked Out of the Hood, No Ian Kicked. You can find my hobby page, Kicked Out of the Hobby, No Ian Kicked. And that is it for right now. You can check out backlog episodes of Elite Showdown. Get ready for when those 10 episodes finally drop in probably a year. And Ron, Nold, where can they find all your wonderful art?
You can find my art on Instagram at Good Art This Game. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Good at This Game. And you can find me on this podcast. And also, I guess this weekend, time of recording this coming weekend, I am going to be on another podcast.
What?
Yeah, I know, right?
Congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, well, it's just because it's a kink podcast and,
Whatever. Hey, by the time they hear this,
I'll already be on that podcast, probably. What the Sex is what it's called. And I'll be covering some kink stuff, so it should be fun. It's apparently going to be a live recording, so that's also exciting. So,
very awesome. Very cool.
Yeah. Anyways, Joey, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Threads at Comic Book Rundown. You can email us comicbookrundown@gmail.com. Rate and review us on your podcasting app of choice. If you do, we'll read it on an upcoming episode. We've got merch on Redbubble and TeePublic with new merch coming monthly, every few months. Sure. We'll
Kind of. Yeah, actually, I guess. And then once I get done with the next one,
We
we'll
didn't
have
come
another
up
one
with a
coming
good joke from this one that he could turn into merch. God damn it, we're stupid.
I don't know. It could be just Arnold's ass and somebody standing in front of him and it says, "Come with me if you want to live."
I like the
Well,
idea.
Arnold didn't say in this movie.
He says it in the next one.
Yeah, but Reese said it's got to be a Terminator. Anyway.
Okay, fine. It's got to be Reese's ass.
I like
So it'll have like burn marks and shit.
I like the idea of him having giant jugs and Reese standing there being like, I know I have to kill him, but
or just shooting him in the chest so they bounce.
Oh, that's good too, yeah.
Anyway, so also
great
our
merch.
Song, we got some good stuff actually coming. Our song was done by Cam. So
Hey,
our
Dr. Dad.
Dr. Dad Cam. Our next movie.
Oh my god.
We actually kind of mentioned it earlier. Well, Chuck
Aliens.
It's Aliens from 1986.
Alien? Oh fuck. All right. I'm gonna try to go into this with not my prejudice of the fact that this is not a horror movie.
Well, sure.
It's a comic movie. You're right.
It's a comic book movie.
Yeah, I've constantly been told it's a horror.
I've never seen this movie, so I'm actually looking forward to watching it.
I've only seen it once, and I don't remember a lot of it because I was so mad I just stopped watching it.
Really?
Yeah, I think I saw it all the way to the I don't remember. I don't know.
Well,
so it'll be interesting.
This is the one similar to T2 where people were like, "Hey, you want to watch Alien movie? Watch this one. Watch Aliens because that's apparently the better one." So I don't know. We'll see.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, see. So thank you all for listening. We will catch you next time.
Scooby-Doo. Damn.